Hello, and welcome to the Octavia Fellin Public Library. My name is Joshua. I work here full-time as the Experiential Learning Coordinator. And what that means essentially is that I create these fun experiences through in-person classes and workshops. However, that isn't the case right now, so we switched to our online platform. Today, I'm going to be doing a series called Creative Corner. And essentially what that is I will be making fun experiences through my own expertise as an artist, and today we're going to be going over the color theory, basics, and fundamentals. Everything that I'll be teaching you can be found around your home, but if you don't have any of these items, most of the things that can be bought in person at low cost to you. Alright, so I've went over what we're going to be doing today, and that's going to be our color theory. We're going to talk about the basics and terminology, but first let's talk about color theory. So color theory encompasses a multitude of definitions, designs, applications, and concepts. The example that I have for you today is that color theory is a logical structure to color. For example, if you were to get various fruits and vegetables and arrange them in a circle by placing them in their own color groups, you would show the relation between not only the colors but also with themselves. Alright everyone, so right in front of me I have the color wheel. Now the color wheel is a favorite for designers, artists, and the wheel itself makes color relationships easier to see. And right now I have it divided into 12 equal parts, and we're going to talk about some of the terminology that we're going to be using to describe the color wheel. So first things first, the color itself is called a hue, and a hue is the unique attribute of the color, such as red, green, blue, violets, etc. as we've taken a look at the color wheel. Now, we're going to start out with our primary colors, and our primary colors in traditional color theory is the three colors that cannot be mixed by combining other colors together. And right in front of me, the three primary colors are going to be yellow, red, and blue. So when we take a look at this color wheel, I'll put the template that I've used in the description below, but we're going to start out in the very middle. We're going to paint one of these yellow, the other one red, and the other one blue. So in order to do that, let's go ahead and roll up our sleeves. You can go ahead and do this with paint, you can do it with colored pencils, crayons, anything that you have around your home. But if you decide to use colored pencils or crayons, markers, make sure you look at the labels because they are going to be labeled, and make sure you start out with yellow, red, and blue. So let me go ahead and grab my paintbrush, and we're going to start off with one of the lightest colors, and that's going to be yellow. So we're just going to go ahead and quickly fill in. You can take your time, you can go over the edges if you want to. But we're going to fill out one of these with yellow. And then we're going to go ahead and start on our next color, which I'm going to be doing red. And when you do this, you want to make sure you don't mix the colors, because we're going to be mixing the colors a little bit later. Alright, and we're almost done. Our last color we're going to be working with is blue. Okay, so the paints that I am working with is acrylic paint. Acrylic paint is made with plastic, and it's going to be a whole lot faster in the drying process, and it's going to be ready to touch depending on how much paint you use. But this is our starting structure. Next up, we're going to be doing is our secondary colors, which are going to be a mixture of two primary colors. So let's go ahead and get started with that. And first off, we're going to be mixing both red and yellow to make orange. Now when you do your mixing, you want to mix roughly about half and half. And if your colors don't look right, you can always add more. And that's what I'm doing, is adding a bit more yellow into the red that I'm using. And once you got a nice orange color, you're going to go ahead and paint that on the side. And if you go over your lines, that's okay. You can always go back in with some white if you would like to. You don't have to. Okay. Let's add a little bit more red so that way it's nice and flush. But we're going to continue doing that around the color wheel. And our next color that we're going to be working with will be green. So in order to make green, you're going to mix the two colors of blue and yellow. Grabbing a little bit of blue. Now when you do this, you want to make sure that you have more of the lighter color compared to the darker color, because black pigment, the darker pigment is harder to work with. And if your colors don't look right, you could just keep mixing in more yellow or more blue. It's a little bit too dark now, so I have to add more yellow. That looks like a good enough green. So we're going to go ahead and add green to our color wheel. Alright. Clean it up with some blue. And the last color we have on our color wheel is going to be purple here in the center. And in order to get purple, you need to mix both red and blue together. My purple looks a little bit too maroonish, so I'm going to keep adding some blue till it looks a little bit more purple. That looks good enough there. So we're going to go ahead and add purple into our color wheel. Okay, I am going to go ahead and skip ahead because we're going to add these colors into the outer wheel itself, and then we're going to go ahead and talk about our next term, okay? Okay, so now that I have both my primary as well as the secondary colors on the outer edge of the color wheel, the next concept I would like to talk with you is going to be our tertiary colors. Now, tertiary colors are colors that are going to be in between our primary and secondary colors, and it's a combination of two color names. For instance, we have red and purple, so this color is going to be red purple, yellow green, red orange, and we're going to go ahead and fill in the rest of our blank areas. So in order to do that, we're going to add a little bit more of the red to the orange that we have off to the side to create a nice red orange. And we're going to go ahead and fill in one of these, this area. And we're going to go ahead and do the same by adding a little bit more yellow to the orange. To make a nice yellow orange. I'm going to go ahead and put that on our color wheel. Now, as I mentioned, if you're doing this with colored pencils or crayons, your colored pencils and crayons will already be labeled with these colors, so you can just color it in if you want to with those colors. But we'll go ahead and fill in the rest of the color wheel. So I'm going to add a little bit more yellow to my green. Get a nice yellow-green coin. And again, if you go over the lines, it's fine. I'll probably go ahead and just go back in after we're done and clean it up with some white paint. But you're going to add a little bit more blue to the green that we have here. Make a nice blue-green color. And we're going to continue on, adding a little bit more red to our purple that we have here. Make a nice red purple. Okay. And last but not least, we're going to add a little bit more blue to our purple. And we're done with our color wheel. You may be wondering why I have these three blocks down here in the bottom. I'm going to be talking about that now. So the three blocks I have here at the bottom is our next concept. So what we're going to be doing first before I get into that is we're going to be adding some color at the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and add some red. You can choose red, you can choose blue, you can choose yellow, any of the colors work. But this next concept I'm going to be talking to you about is called Tint and Tone. So tint is when you add white to a color, making it lighter. This also can be referred to as pastel colors. And then tone is when you go ahead and add gray to colors, which we're not going to be doing on this one. And I failed to mention that we're going to be doing another concept called shade. Shade is when you add black to color, reducing its overall brightness. And so I'm going to add just a tad bit of black, not a whole lot because black goes a long way. And I'm also going to be adding white to this color. So first things first, you want to get your red and add just a tad bit of black to create a shade. And we'll go ahead and add that to one side. And this makes for a nice maroonish type color. If you want, you're more than welcome to add more black. But like I said, black goes a long way. And the last thing I'm going to be doing is adding some white to red. Now when you add white, you may have to add a lot of white, because unlike black, white is doesn't go a long way. But we're going to go ahead and add that to the left side, creating a nice pinkish color. And there you have it. You have your color wheel, you have your tint, tone, and shade. But let's go ahead and review some of the terminology, like I mentioned, going through this video. So, color, also known as hue, is the unique attribute given to a specific color. So you have red, you have blue, yellow, purple, green, etc. Right here in the center, you have your primary colors. Traditionally in color theory, these colors cannot be mixed by combining two other colors. So you can't use purple and green to try to make blue. So you have your primary colors. And then on the outer side, you have your secondary colors, which are mixed by combining two primary colors. So in the middle, I have yellow, blue, and green. But if we mix red and blue, you get purple. If you mix yellow and red, you have orange. And if you mix blue and yellow, you have green. Next up, we have our tertiary colors. And our tertiary colors are the in-between colors of our both primary as well as secondary. So in between blue and purple, you have blue, purple. In between yellow and green, you have yellow, green. Between red and orange, you have red, orange. Here at the bottom, I have it separate from the color wheel, but you have your main color, which in this case I use red. You're more than welcome to use any other color that you would like, but adding some shade to it, which is going to be black or any other dark color you want. So if you wanted to add purple or blue, you're more than welcome to do that. But I added black. Black goes a long way. So I added a tad bit of black to red and it came out kind of maroonish. Now if you add some tint to it, this is caused by adding white to your color. So if you add a little bit of white to red, it's going to turn out pink. And if you want, as I mentioned, you're more than welcome to use any color that you want. But I am going to go ahead and clean it up and then post it online. The color template is in the description if you want to use the color wheel. Again, you can use crayons, markers, colored pencils. Just pay attention to the labels. Other than that, next week we're going to be doing a collage demonstration utilizing magazines, books. But for that, I'm going to be posting the materials you would need. If you would like to do the class with me, you're more than welcome to do that. But that's all I have for you today. Thank you very much.